Hello Lolas. So I'm here to do a tag, one that I saw on Random Reborn's channel, and she did a tag, and it was, what would you do if you could do it all over again, like being new into the Reborn world or the doll community? Would you do anything differently, or what would you change type tag? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get the question wrong because I listened to it a couple days ago, but I'm gonna start off with that and get right into it. But before I do that, I have to give you my commercial.
Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you click the bell for notification, and make sure that you join my membership for exclusive live streams and other little chit chatters.
If you can't see the join button next to the subscribe button, then that means you have to click the link in the description bar, because usually if you're on an iPhone you can't see it. Anyway, when I first started out and I was brand new, I came in without a plan. The only thing I wanted to do was be able to share my box openings. I was so excited about seeing other people's box openings, and so I wanted to push her hair out and see what it looked like if I push her hair out. So I brought all my little stuff. This is mostly like clear water because I don't want to lock it in place, so I'm not going to use a little more fabric softener. But when I came in, that was my full intent. I had no intent on being YouTube famous or gaining all these thousands of subscribers or anything like that. I just wanted at least somebody to be watching, and to and to be able to just do my box openings. Well, then I started having like a couple experiences, so then I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to share them with people because I wanted people to not get burned like I did, or have the same good experience, because I would talk about artists that I love and stuff like that. And I would share the sculpt names and stuff like that, because when I was new, I hated the fact that I would watch all these videos and no one would share like the sculpt name and stuff. So I would be left as a newbie trying to figure out what sculpt that was because I wanted it. So I would always tell what sculpt it was or put it in my title description. That was something I always did with my reborns, and then on to once I started collecting silicones as well. So that I would not change. I really enjoyed who I was back then. A lot of people tell me I have not changed. I do every now and then get not rude, maybe that's just their opinion and I can agree with them partially, say that I have changed. Once as time, grew and my collection grew, my subscribers grew, etc., etc., I think I became even more opinionated. I guess because I thought I knew a little bit more. I don't know. But I became a little bit more opinionated. And then the other thing that I did, when I was new, I used to comment on all these videos, and the big YouTubers would never respond to my comments, and that used to bug me to no end, because I would see them replying to other people, like it felt like they were picking over some people comments, or people that they that were small, or they didn't know, that wasn't popular. I don't know, that's how I felt. So when I got my channel, I took pride in trying to respond to everybody. And then there was a couple times when I was ready to purchase like a expensive doll. I reached out to some of these big time collectors that had similar dolls, or that I was going after, and they would never respond. And so that burned me. So from then, anytime somebody wrote me, I responded back, and I wanted to be a help, because I remember how it was when I tried to get help and no one wanted to help me. Well, that burned out. As my channel grew, I started getting like more gossip, more stories about what happened to people privately. I started, taking on other people's problems, etc., etc. And then I kind of understood why some of the bigger subscribers really didn't get that deeply involved, because it can be draining. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes I enjoy the tea, girl. Girl, what? Yes, girl, tell me, child, spill the beans. But then it can get draining when you wish you could help and there's nothing you can do, or you hear of someone losing all this money and so on and so forth. So yeah, so it got to be a bit much, and so I wouldn't necessarily say I would have done it all differently, but I will say now I do it a little differently. It just depends on what type of tea you spilling, child, or who you are spilling it, because I don't be want to listen. Sometimes I still listen, just to be in the know. But anyway, which leads me to this. Back a couple years ago, I went to my first doll show, and when I went to my first doll show, prior to that, I had started befriending a certain person in the community, and they are big time YouTubers, and we hung out at the doll show and all this and stuff, and we all had our little gossip behind the scenes and stuff. And when I came back, I did my review on the doll show. Well, I was highly encouraged by some of these bigger artists / YouTubers to really speak on this one particular artist, which is Sylvia. And I thought we just shared the same opinion at the doll show. I felt like the dolls didn't look like the work that I seen on camera, because I was such a big fan of Sylvia. Like, I used to drool over her work, her photography. I still do, to be honest, to this day. You know, my recent doll shows and, you know, seeing other work, you know, showed more closely to the photographs. But that particular show, they did not. They were so opposite. And it wasn't that I shared a lie. It was just that maybe the way I shared it, or, you know, maybe I didn't really consider the artist's feelings or whatever. But I had these other big time YouTubers or artists, and I'm not putting the blame on them because I'm my own person. You guys know nobody made me do something I don't want to do, but the encouragement and the cheerleading definitely give you that push. And so they were like, yeah, because I can't wait, you know, until, you know, she hit rock bottom, because, you know, she thinks she's all that and her work really isn't all that, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm just talking about all the, you know, a lot, but that was just one of the myths. And then later, I wish I would have done it differently now, because only later is when I regretted it, when I was on, like, I think it was Instagram, and I saw where Sylvia and this individual was talking, and they were saying how they love each other and they're sisters, and, you know, and I was like, wait a minute, like, how do you say that to her after you just said you're waiting for her failure? And it just really, like, made me see things so differently. It made me look at them differently. It made me start questioning other people's motives. So their agenda was not to that we shared the same interest. It was mostly like, oh, let's let her do it type thing. Now, they did comment vaguely on the video and stuff like that, but nothing specific. And then they did get in, you know, get into some trouble for some of their comments. And then, well, not trouble, but, you know, the video became a big sensation on Doll Fan, and everybody was talking about it and taking it apart and taking sides. And, you know, I did have a lot of people defending the video and saying that they share the same opinions at the doll show, and I wasn't the only person that thought these things and stuff. Because, like I said, it was really, you know, not like I made it up. It was just that I probably could have done without sharing it the way I did. I don't know. But then, you know, from that, it went to, you know, it just went from one thing to the next. And then there's times where, like, I get upset when I see certain things, and it bugs me. Now, one situation that is more recent, not very recent, but I wish that I would have approached this situation a little differently too. And I think someone said this in a comment or something, that, you know, instead of getting mad with a person, maybe explain to them why you feel offended or whatever, because they may not get it. Well, there was a video put up once, and it was, you know, someone doing a nursery tour, and they represented all their dolls, which was primarily Caucasian babies, and maybe one biracial, and then they had a like orangutan in the nursery, and they said that was their nanny. And to me, that was so offensive to African American people, because of the negative connotation that is associated with monkeys and chimpanzees and orangutans. You know, it's an old tale. You know, people would call African Americans monkeys, just like as the N-word. And so many people, like many African American people, won't even put their real children, much less their dolls, on monkey clothing or anything. I actually like monkey clothing, and I know, and I do have some, but I don't use it on my videos sometimes because of this. But I thought about, you know, I made a comment about it, and I'm like, why the nanny gotta be the, you know, the old orangutan? Because I, you know, at this point I'm feeling some type of way, and I'm in the midst of a live stream, and I'm saying this, and then, you know, it gets back to the person, I guess, or whatever, and we no longer talk anymore. I could have approached that situation so differently. I could have just simply inboxed them and said, hey, you know, I was watching your video, and I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of African American people don't like to be called, you know, monkeys or whatever. And the fact that, you know, okay, back in the, you know, the old days or slavery days, the slaves were the nannies and the housekeepers, you know, they, you know, and to make that to be the nanny, and the rest of the dolls and you are not African American, it kind of seemed a little, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it was just my thinking. I know it was other people that made the comment and said that to me as well. They took it that way. You know, now I'm the only person to speak out, but, or say something. So it's like, oh, she's calling me a racist. No, that video had a racial tension to it or something like that. I don't know. but I could have approached it differently. Maybe they just was clueless and they thought nothing, their mind wasn't even thinking of that. And so I guess I was just kind of hurt. I was shocked, and I was kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I could have approached that differently. I could have, you know, just talked to them, and then maybe they would have said, oh no, I've never thought about it this way, or blah, 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 blah. And that would have resolved the whole thing. Instead, we end up blocking each other or unfriending each other. We don't talk. We don't watch each other videos anymore that I know of. And it's just like, okay, boom. So goes that one. You know, so it just, you know, so that's one thing that I would have changed. And then there's the, you know, the getting close to people and right off the bat, you know, thinking they're great people and, you know, come and run into their aid and all this and stuff, only to find out later that they're liars and manipulators and, you know, conniving and only friends for our agenda. But then on the flip side, because I've experienced all of that, it's made me more, you know, guarded and reluctant to be friends with anybody else now. And now I kind of wish if I could go back again, I wouldn't just get personal with anyone, and I would have just kept it to dolls. Like, oh, the outfit is cute, oh, blah, blah. I wouldn't, you know, wanted to hear about the kids or the relationships or nothing. Like, I just would have just rather just comment on my video, I comment on your video, let's not be in inboxes. I wish I would have changed that. Some of the videos that I've done in the past, I've always said, you know, it is what it is. I speak my mind, and that is that. And I know some people enjoy that, but it comes with a price to pay. And sometimes I don't know if that price to pay has been totally worth it. So I wish that I would have either went all in and just owned it, or either just not did the videos at all and just kept it basic. But I don't know that I would be who I am today. And when I say who I am today, it's not like I'm someone big, but I don't think that my channel would have grown the way that it have had I not been that person. You see, because a lot of people claim to not like drama and etc., but a lot of people do. And, you know, most people do, as long as they're not in it. And so I'm not sure, you know, how that would have changed or affected, you know, my numbers. To be honest, as much as I love, you know, the interaction and stuff like that, I wish that I could change the perspective of many of my intent or my channel content. I don't know. It's just been a lot of different things. You know, then there was Saida. I really loved Saida's video. Well, I love Saida when she was being Saida. There was a time where, you know, we spoke privately and I shared my thoughts and stuff with her. And I don't know. I just feel like some of these people, it's some people in the community that has a bad influence on some people. And I feel like, you know, that changes things. It changes the dynamics of relationships and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know. But I just wish that I would have done things differently. I really do. Oh my gosh, I could go down the list of people that I've had different things. Like, you know, I've said something not thinking that, oh my god, they have this baby. Like, I might have said, oh, this doll, I don't like that doll, I don't like the way it looks, etc. And then, you know, a week later or 2 weeks later, I come across one of my videos that I'm subscribed to, and I'm looking, and then it's that particular sculpt, and I'm like, oh my god, I said so and so last week. Oh my gosh, she must hate me. You know what I mean? And it's like, dang it, my mouth. So sometimes I wish that if I could do things all over as a new subscriber, I probably would have stuck to box openings, clothes changing, hauls. I don't really care for hauls, but I would have stuck to that stuff, outing videos, that type stuff. But it feels like I've already went so far now. It's kind of hard to change that. It's kind of hard to change who I am, or who I've become now, because I'm so used to just sitting down and just talking. So now it's kind of like, okay, do y'all want me to play music in the background type thing? You know, there's been times that, you know, my experiences with artists, oh my gosh, where I've been, you know, chatty with them and, you know, thought that we had a good working relationship and, you know, borderline friends, you know, and then, you know, realized that, you know, they were charging more than they were charging other people, or, you know, they took advantage one way or another. And then maybe I could say, maybe I took advantage because I had easy access and I could, you know, get a doll quicker than anybody else. So, you know, maybe it was just, the opportunity was there and we kind of both, you know, took advantage of the friendship, or the, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. So, I don't know, guys. If I could, all I can say is if I could go back to when I very first started my channel and when I very first started in the doll community, I would have kept it, I wish I would have kept it the way that I first started and not went any further. The skits and all that stuff, that's fine. But I just wish some days, I wish with everything in me that I would have never became as free and open, as vocal as I am, as I have been. And I have been trying to slow it down. I have. There are some people that I wish that I could have not offended. But there are some, very few, but there are some that I really don't regret not, cutting off and not dealing with, period. And I never want to have anything to do with those particular individuals ever in life again. If I ever run into them at a doll show or anything like that, I would just treat them as if they were invisible. But that's very few, like I said, maybe one or two. Beyond that, I just wish I would have just kept it fun and lighthearted. And you can be informative without being too harsh, and I just wish I would have just done that. And I wish that I would have not put myself in that position and gotten closer to, or chatted with everybody that hit my inbox. I do. And I wish that some of the people, I would have taken the time to explain to them why I felt like they offended me, or what I feel like they did that changed my perspective of them, instead of just not dealing with them at all anymore, just cutting them off. Because girl, I would just block people just quick, like block, unfriend, never watch their videos, never talk to them again, never look at anything again. Some people, I forget that they even have channels anymore because I blocked them so long ago. It don't pop up in my feed no more. It don't do anything. Matter of fact, I click on there, it says, I say, I do not wish to watch this video content from this people. Like, they have an option, some kind of thing that pops up. And I just wish that I wouldn't be so harsh when it comes to that. And I feel like if it's going to be a community, you have to communicate to a certain extent. Now, in passing, that's, it is what it is. But if you've actually literally had several chats with a person and stuff like that, I mean, it's worth just letting the person know, because maybe they just don't know. Even people have came to me and said stuff to me, and I've been like, wow, I didn't mean it to come across that way. I'm sorry. I've had people come to me and tell me things, and a lot of them have been good stuff, but there's been people that come straight up and say, hey, you such and such and such and such, and you did such and such and such and such, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, this was a great tag. And last but not least, and I know this is a long video and I keep saying I'm going to go, but one of the other things I wish I had done, and this I do, and I'm kind of addicted to sharing with you guys, but I really wish that when I had bought a lot of my very expensive dolls, and I remember wondering, why do the product collectors never show their dolls, like the really high price dolls? And I get it. I wish that I'd never shown those dolls. And I think in the future, as much as I love to share, I'm going to try. I may do it on my membership part, some of them. But I think when I get new dolls from now on, I'm going to keep it to myself. I think that have brought me a lot of grief too. People judge. I feel like I'm judged a lot by the dolls that I've collected, or by what particular artist, or I feel like there's like a lot of competition. But I feel like when you have just like average dolls, or kind of like blend in with everybody else, it's not as much hate as it is if you have something rare or whatever. I feel like you don't get as much of the competition and the hate as you do as your collection is more exquisite, etc., etc. So I wish if I would change that, I would not have shown all my dolls, or as many as I did publicly on social media. And that is it. So anyway, this has been like a long video, one of the videos that I don't like to do. I may cut it in 2 parts, but I just wanted to get it all out. Some other stuff I'm sure I'm forgetting that I wish I would have changed. Well, a part of me wished that I would have not bought the most expensive dolls, to be honest. But I can't regret that, because then I would have to regret my experience. At least I've seen them and stuff. But it's kind of made me now where I'm so critical of other dolls now, because I've seen really, really exceptional sculpted dolls and painted dolls, and now it makes it hard for me to collect others. And I kind of feel like it's ruined my doll experience in a good way, but in a bad way. I don't feel like I get to enjoy other dolls as much, and I really want to try it again, like collect a doll that's not that advanced, to see if because even with Bella, as much as I say, oh yeah, she's not, or Puck, she's not, like the premium dolls, they're still very expensive, and they're very well sculpted, and they're by very experienced and exquisite sculptors. So it's still not really an average doll, and so it's easy for me. I'm not fair when I say that you could fall in love with just anything, because as I sit here and think, I don't know. And just to sum things up, I guess what I'm saying is that a lot of times, although things were my opinion or whatever, but a lot of stuff come to me, and you know, topics would be asked of me to discuss or whatever, and people would encourage me to say, you know, give my opinion of this or that, and then they would hide their hands and sit back, and I would become the bad guy. And all the people that have came to me and said, if you said this and you said, you know, would you talk about this and talk about that, they run around looking like a saint while I'm looking like the devil, and they're the corporate behind the video. And so I guess my advice would be to people today is, let your videos be inspired by yourself and yourself only. I mean, topics, yeah, like tags, yeah, I get it, but don't let anyone push you into doing things that later one day you're gonna regret, because those people hide their hands and they look innocent in the entire situation, and you're the one sitting there stuck and caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You know, these people that wanted people to be exposed and etc., they didn't support me when I was being attacked. They never not once come and said anything. And then later down the road, they became my attackers. You know, they did the same thing to me that they did to that particular person later down the road. So it doesn't pay to do it. And karma is a mother. And all the things that I thought was a good idea, most of them were not. And as I became, you know, started painting myself and things like that, I realized the struggle of being an artist. I realized the struggle of dealing with other collectors or dealing with fellow artists. And I realized that what I did was awful. It might have helped people along the way and saved the money, yeah. But to the artist itself, it was awful. I will admit that. It's very, because every artist is going to have a bad day or a bad doll. And it's very bad when you have such a huge platform and you rip an artist to pieces. And I didn't necessarily rip them to pieces. I gave constructive feedback. But now that I'm painting myself, and if, you know, when people did it to me, I thought, well, dang, why didn't they just tell me personally? You know? So yeah, it make it different. Very different. So this video was very, you know, this video or this tag was very, very, when I heard it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is something I asked myself over and over and over again. And it just really, really is a very deep subject for me. It's a very deep and sore subject for me. Because there are many days, I'm telling you guys. And I hate when people do this, and I know I've done it before. I'm not coming back to YouTube. I'm not coming back to Facebook. I'm done. I'm done. And then a week later, it's because I'm addicted to you guys. And I'm addicted to the dolls, and I'm addicted to sharing, and you know, I'm an attention, you know, junkie like everybody else, I guess. But there are many days, more than not, as of recently, since I've kind of went to just the changing and stuff like that, I've been really enjoying it back like I used to a lot more. But prior to that, there's been days where I just feel like never picking up my camera again, never, you know, doing another talking video. Like, I don't know, like, it, you know, it just makes me want to, you know, just disappear and just be a total private collector. But I know that I'm just addicted to it now. But I'm hoping that I find a way, another way to entertain you guys without where it doesn't affect others. But I think it's going to always be someone feeling effective, because you can't please everybody. And I mean, it's only so much we can talk about. And I have an opinion, and I'm opinionated, and I'm very vocal. And so, I don't know, but I am working on it. So, thanks again for watching. Is it fair to me to say that I wish that I didn't have this addiction at all? And I wish that I could just never make a YouTube video again and never collect another doll again and be happy? Do I really feel that way?